Congratulations, Mike. Great win.
Thank you, Reggie.
Hey, you enter this tournament, the NCAA, in a different locale because this is a new thing to be going in off ACC championship or any conference championship. Your team has been level-headed all year. I assume that you expect the same thing to get back to work mode right away, huh?
Well, we need some rest, I think, tomorrow, too. I mean, we got back early a.m. We didn't do anything today, and we still need another day of rest. That'll give us 2 days to prepare. But this has been a really focused group. There's no question. They enjoyed and celebrated one of the most, if not the most special moment in our program history last night, and well-deserved. But, I also think that they're a confident group. I've never taken a team into the NCAA tournament off of a tournament championship in our league. And so I think that gives you a whole nother level of believing.
And one of the things that you've been able to do is put together streaks of win during the course of the season. Obviously, this is a great example, ACC tournament. That's a real tournament situation. But this team really has been able to sustain this level of play. What do you attribute that most to?
Well, I think they're a pretty mature group. You've heard me give credit to our leadership. They've set a great tone starting back in June, and they've been really good in March. And I thought they were great in Greensboro, that being Jaron and Pat, and I would even add Demetrius to that group now with his voice and drive. And they were really focused on going down there. We talked about cutting nets down, and they kind of reinterpreted it as wanting shirts and hats. That's kind of the theme they kicked around. And certainly they were wearing them on the plane back last night.
As you look ahead a little bit to Northeastern, what do you know?
Well, I know Northeastern well. I played them a lot in my old America East days when I was at the University of Delaware. They were in the Mohegan Sun event with us, the Hall of Fame Classic, so got to see them play a little bit. Remember them beating Florida State on the road early in the season. Billy Cohen's a heck of a coach. He's one of the bright young coaches in the business. And they play a lot like us. They spread you out. They move the ball. They've got shot makers. They know how to play. They'll play a little bit of a matchup zone. But, again, it's a team like us that just won a conference championship tournament. So you go in with some momentum and belief.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
ACC championship, whether it's immediate or big picture?
Well, big picture, I think it's an unbelievable endorsement for our program. As we are, the one thing you've heard me say about our program is we were independent till 95. We didn't join a league soon enough. Then we joined a league. Then we switched leagues. We have been kind of a erratic basketball history as far as where do our fans follow us? Who are our rivals? What's our identity? We established a pretty darn good identity in the Big East. Really did. We were very respected. We were very consistent. But we never got to Saturday night in New York City, never won, a championship. So, doing that in this league, I think really kind of, as I told John Swafford last night, I said, I guess we're in this league now. It's official. We're in. But I think it's great for our program, big picture. Short term, I think it's great for this group's confidence as they move into the NCAA tournament because I've never had a team come off a tournament championship moving into the NCAA tournament.
How different is Selection Sunday after trying to get them down back to earth rather than trying to pump them up?
The other first for us is that's our first automatic bid in history. When you think about we finally earned an automatic bid. You know what? This group will recalibrate and be hungry quickly. That's been their MO. It starts with Pat and Jaron, but even all our other guys, I know they're not satisfied. We started talking about the next tournament, which happens to be the Pittsburgh tournament last night, whatever it would be, and I just talked to them before those guys talked to you about we just won a really tough tournament. Now let's win another little mini tournament in Pittsburgh, and then we'll regroup and see what's going on after that.
Mike, you talked even before last night's game how big that would be for the program. what's happened, maybe who you've talked to or texts you've gotten that's gotten you to understand, yeah, it was big, I thought it was big, but it's
Yeah.
even bigger now that I can think about it.
Well, there's a lot of people on Tobacco Road, that they're wondering if we broke in their houses and got in and out of town and stole a trophy and came back home. I mean, when you do it, also what we did in the regular season on Tobacco Road too, winning in Chapel Hill, winning at state, I think it's really, it's got ACC country understanding, who we are, and we're really respected. And that's what I had hoped for last year, to go in with some momentum, and we didn't do that, but we certainly have bounced back. You hear from a lot of guys, a lot of, Coach Wooten, guys like that. Again, a lot of guys I know from back home were ACC guys. And as you could tell from last night, the way the media down there talks to me, I'm like an ACC guy. While I was a Big East guy, I was never maybe a true Big East guy, because I grew up in ACC country and I coached at Duke. So it's interesting how the ACC guys, even when we went down there to say we were announcing welcome home, welcome back. And so, it's funny. I always kind of thought, I'm in the Big East. I just want to be a Big East guy. That's who we are. Maybe at the end of the day, my destiny was go back to the ACC, and thinking about that a lot on the plane last night. But in the league and around the league, I think it's very powerful. And and I think what was so powerful for our program was that we moved to the night sessions, and we moved the bracket, like the Big East bracket, playing at night. When we played in prime time and won 2 great games, everybody in the country watched. It's just great for your program, great for your recruiting, the whole bit.
They think of you as an ACC guy down there, but when you win the ACC tournament, do you get to go to another ACC room of like Krzyzewski and all those guys?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't put myself in those guys.
Tournament winner.
Tournament winner. Yeah, yeah. I think for the people, in the true ACC people, that's a real endorsement. Like, okay, man, he's for real. He's one of our guys. I think ACC country's always been intrigued by me a little bit. I've been offered a lot of ACC jobs when I coached here, so now I'm back there in front of them, and it was really gratifying to see my team play like that last night, and play so well and play so fearlessly.
Mike, what was the feeling like when the horn sounded?
Well, it's funny how this year has been, the karma's been so good that who's standing in front of me when the buzzer goes off but Jaron Grant. And I get to hug him, and, it's a good long hug, and certainly get a little emotional. It was just so fitting that the two of us happened to be right there when the horn went off. And, you saw my quote. He says, "God, is this for real?" I said, "Yes, sir, it is. Definitely for real." But seeing our guys celebrate at half court, Roy Williams was amazingly gracious. I have a lot of respect for him. He is an ACC guy, longtime ACC guy, and it meant a lot what he said about our program, as it did Friday night what Mike Kay said about our program.
Mike, you were asked about the toughness of this team last night. You said it was your toughest team. I mean, you've had Humphrey and
Yep.
Aaron Godey and Hansbrough. You've had some really tough players. Is it all a Pat Jaron driven thing, or did you do something different, or recruit different, or find guys that you thought were a little bit different than what you had had?
I don't know if we flat out said, let's recruit these, tough guys. I mean, the group toughness is just so good. And, certainly Pat and Jaron are Pat and Jaron. Demetrius has an edge about him. As I said last night, I know there's commercials about Steph Curry, the baby face assassin. Steve Astoria is ours. What a killer that dude is. I mean, what's the epitome of him last night? He throws the ball away before half. They come down and dunk it. Then he bangs down a 3 right before halftime. You got to have a special DNA, man, to do that. Zach August has gotten more of an edge, and he's controlled it better. I thought he was fabulous down there and went to a whole nother level, defending the post against Okafor, fighting off all those big guys last night. And Bonzi's tough. There's a toughness and a confidence and swagger about Bonzi. So the collective toughness, where I've had individual tough guys, the collective toughness is really special, and you never know how it's going to come together, but it's been interesting to watch.
Are those things you identify personality traits in recruiting? Like, do you know
Well,
about Steve or Bonzi coming in, or do you start kind of discover?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I would say, most of the kids are going to get high-level Division I scholarships are going to have a bit of an edge about them. They can't be totally soft and yet skilled. But we've had guys like that, and now that you ask the question, I'm reflecting a little bit. I've been attracted to guys like that. Heron Goody was 6'6" and undersized, but when I watched him in Houston, everyone in the gym was scared of him. I want to coach that guy. Hell, I was scared of him at times when I coached him. Ben Hansborough, could get wacky as heck. There was an edge about him, but I want that guy on my side. And so, yeah, I think I probably do identify with that a little. Demetrius always had an edge about him. Everyone in town knows that. And, that was good. Connaughton, Connaughton couldn't dribble left-handed, so people backed off that summer before his senior year. All I know is when I watched him in Orlando that game, he made every play. Parents in the stands were yelling at him. He made 2 free throws. He kind of gestured at him, and I was like, I want that guy. I want to take that guy to Chapel Hill at Greensboro. And Jaron has developed a toughness, but it took all of 5 years to get him to that point.
These guys have talked about wanting to do things the program hasn't done in a while, or make history for this program. How do you keep them kind of in the moment, not let them get too far ahead of themselves?
Well, by simplifying this tournament and looking at it as just one weekend here, I put on the board in there the 3 other teams in our little mini bracket in Pittsburgh, Butler, Texas, and Notre Dame, Northeastern. And I put up on there the Pittsburgh tournament. We've already won 1 tournament. Last time I checked, we went through some pretty good teams. Can we win the Pittsburgh tournament? That's all we're thinking about. I told them, don't even look at the rest of the bracket. Just look at the Pittsburgh tournament. Let's win that, come back, regroup, and talk about the Cleveland tournament. And so that's, and I do want them to enjoy this for another day. We can't practice very hard tomorrow. We're tired. They should enjoy this for another day, and we'll be ready to really lock in business-wise Tuesday. And then we got to travel Tuesday because we'll have media obligations on Wednesday.
Defensively, do you feel like this team is in the best place it's been all season?
Yeah, it's the best place it's been all the way around. We were at such a high level down there, especially Friday and Saturday, that I think they know how it feels. They know how we prepared. We have a reference point of a really higher level, and the level we had going there wasn't too bad. Got us a double bye, but it was another level of stuff, and that's a group just giving of themselves, and our bench being good and supporting guys and good attitudes. It's been a really low maintenance group.
Mike, you said, Zach sort of got that edge, but it's a little bit more focused. What do you think's happened with him, or is it just, it's that time?
I think it's time. I think he knew peer pressure wise, his teammates needed more consistency out of him and be more reliable. And those guys putting heat on Zach is more powerful at this time than me putting heat on Zach.
You talked earlier in non-conference play about when Demetrius and Jaron are really locked in and used the word assassins and what they were doing to people. And it was hit and miss through the regular season, but when they're as locked in as they were down there, what does that do for the entire team?
Well, when those 2 guys are both slashing and we have 2 guys using ball screens, and Demetrius kicked it to another level as well, we're really hard to deal with. We're coming right down your throat. The great thing in the games Friday and Saturday, because of those 2 guys, we got to the bonus quickly, and then we made free throws. We've improved there. We've made free throws at a higher level here. But those 2 guys' drives get you to the bonus fast. And I thought Demetrius was as potent off the ball screen Friday and Saturday, really all three, as Jaron was. And we tried to get them both in it. Regular season sometimes be mostly Jaron. But I thought, Demetrius has become a voice. He wants to win. He talked about a trophy all week leading up to the game on Thursday. He's so pure in wanting his team to do it.
You mentioned he was like that in high school. Is there kind of a sense like, yes, this is the guy I was after, this is the guy I recruited?
Yeah, I felt that in Italy. We didn't have this level in Italy that we had in Greensboro, but once he got the ball in his hands and he was the starter, he was going to be fine. It was difficult last year, but once it was his team and we were able to do that in July and August and not wait till October, I think it really sped the process up.
You played Bonzi and Zach together for some good stretches down there. What did you like from that? How does that kind of change your guys'?
Yeah, it's just another way of playing. We're a little bigger that way. I think we're able to rebound a little better defensively, which can be a weakness, even though last night, 13 we can absorb. And we can offensive rebound a little bit better. Now, what it does do is it's a fine line when I'm looking at it. It changes us offensively. We don't have the spacing we have when Pat is our four-man and we can really spread the court. And so you're always trying to feel that. Bonzi had a tough time guarding their bigs last night. And, so it was going to be a Zach August night. But I tell you what, Bonzi was unbelievable on Friday, to get us there, and was great against the middle of their zone. So, you're always feeling that. We've gotten more reps at it. The end of the season, we played it. We practiced that way a little bit, and then you just kind of read it and see what's going on.
Mike, you've had a lot of success here. The knock on you, though, has been that your teams haven't done well in the tournament, especially since 2003. Does that weigh on you at all?
No.
When going into the tournament, do you look back and take a look at what you've done and maybe think, I've got to do something different, or do you not look back?
No, I don't. I think the biggest thing is not to overanalyze. I'm at a point in my career I don't dwell on it. Maybe I would be if I was younger. The thing we're doing different this year is we're going into this thing after winning a championship, and that's maybe the biggest thing. We handled our league tournament at another level, and I think that gives us, a great, a great chance to do more. But the job is 365 days a year, and we keep I'm motivated to keep wanting to make that run, and I'm excited about the possibilities with this group.
Obviously, you saw great success when you were an assistant too. Is something you saw that was a common theme or something that a team has that makes these runs?
8 McDonald's All-Americans. Well, winning a regular season or conference championship certainly sets you apart going into this next tournament. And this is the only group that we've had that's ever done it, which is why you feel confident.
All the teams you've had here, do you feel like this team is best equipped to not let the moment get too big? Should something happen and you get down in a game?
Yeah. Our mental toughness, that's where, we have reference points. Heck, I even was talking about it in that 9-minute timeout. I said, fellas, we've been in this position so many times. We're down 10, down 9, where we've had to fight our way back to win. We've been there, done that. And I just think this group has if we did have a problem with that, it would have showed itself in Greensboro. That's why I feel better about Pittsburgh.
Mike, when you look at this bracket as a whole, did you get a chuckle at all when you noticed all the Indiana teams?
I saw that. Yeah, Indiana State Championship, right? Going to be playing. It's a heck of a bracket. As I said, I know what's on that other side, but, boy, we haven't looked over there. But, I have a lot of respect for, Butler had a similar year to us, bouncing back off a very difficult year, first time in a new league. I think that's a great story. And, Texas has been the most analyzed team down the stretch, but they're really playing pretty good right now, and they're huge. And again, I have a lot of respect for Northeastern, man. I coached in that league. You got seniors that have played together, they've won together. They'll be very loose, and they're skilled offensively, and they can make shots. So, we've got our hands full, and it's a little bit like guarding ourselves, guarding the arc, and, having to attack some matchup zone when they change to it. I remember watching a game last year. They beat Georgetown in the San Juan shootout, and we were watching that, just kind of watching games in November. And that's the first time I really concentrated on them under Billy Cohen and was really impressed with them. Watched them a little bit in Mohegan Sun, and watched them against Florida State. They're good, man. They're really good, and it's an ACC game.
Imagine where you guys would be if Pat decided he was going to do baseball and Jaron decided maybe.
Oh, where would I be? Maybe I would have been, somewhere else doing TV or something. Now I look and go, what am I going to do without those two guys? But you know what? On Friday night, and really throughout the year, the way our Zach, our sophomores, Bonzi now, the way those guys have played, I always like to glance ahead a little bit at this time too and go, I kind of like that group coming back. It's a pretty solid nucleus. But, it was great. Pat and his dad were, Coach, we're coming back. And I always took them at their word no matter how much heat the Orioles put on them.
Mike, Matt mentioned that the players almost forgot the trophy. I wonder if you any grief to anyone for that?
We were celebrating out there. Somebody laid it on the floor, and the assistant commissioner came in and said, you may want this. And my reply was, well, we're kind of new at this. So, guys were, it was neat to see them kind of just sitting around in the locker room. They didn't shower right away and trading stories and certainly checking their phones and talking about different things. It's really, you talk about chemistry and being together. And as a coach, you're always worried about how it can be screwed up from inside or out. And they're so strong internally. It's just like refreshing to be around them. And I think they're very hungry still, even though what they accomplished last night was extremely special.
Like you said, during that timeout, last night you said during that timeout, they were on fumes.
They were on fumes. Down there, I didn't talk the whole time out. I let them talk. Like this thing's running. This leadership and this mojo is those guys talking through things, getting on each other a little bit. I started the timeout by saying, if we can get a kill coming out of here, the whole complexion will change. That's all we talked about on Monday in practice, being better. We got here. We're playing tonight because we got kills at right time. Remember, 3 stops in a row, kill. I said, you do that, the thing will change. Well, then I think we got 8 straight. Yeah, it may have been 7 or 8, Rod Balanis said, and 6 turnovers. And then by the end of the timeout, they not only were talking, they were yelling at each other in a good way. You're like, we're doing this, some colorful language. And I added in there a little bit, too.
There was a lot of speculation that you were trying to get a technical.
No, I never try and get a technical. And you know what? I had a better angle where I was standing on that drive, in all fairness to the official. But I just thought, God, that's a hard one to get his third. I thought he was gliding out of bounds. And I overreacted a little bit, and I did apologize to the officials at halftime and just told them I'm a little excited.
Mike, you've been in this position before in terms of the seats, even better seat before. But are you as confident, or even more confident with this group as you've ever been?
Yeah, I would say that's the most confident I've been with the team going into the NCAA tournament. Yep. Again, and I think with the experience and what happened in Greensboro has given me that and them that.
Coach, with the ACC this year, do you feel like the style of play at all differs from the Big East that would be an advantage this time of year, or too early to tell?
I don't know. I think you can overanalyze that too. We've been through the gauntlet of that league, and then the gauntlet in Greensboro too. It's interesting that Northeastern is similar to us, you know, and so when we're guarding ourselves in practice every day, we're guarding a little bit of the Northeastern tendencies. And I think, you know, hopefully that can be helpful for us as we start to prepare on Tuesday.
Like, weird to think that you win an ACC championship in your 15th year, and you've got 4 guys from your first team in that building last night.
I know that was really special to turn around, see Murph and Matty right behind the bench, T. Jones, of course, Martin, Swanee. Was there another one? That's probably all of them, right? Of my former guys. But you know, and then certainly I got a lot of texts. The best texts were from our former guys: Herringody, Atkins, Ryan Humphrey, Ben Hansbrough. I feel so good that they're proud of the program. That wherever they are today, they got their ND stuff on. I'll tell you one guy who's going to wear his ND stuff, 24 hours a day for the next year is Matt Carroll in Charlotte, North Carolina. He is wearing that stuff everywhere. He is. He got picked up by the Jazz again, didn't he? They are going to pick him up. Quinn Snyder texted me. They're going to bring him back up. I don't know what. I didn't miss that. What did he do? Did he do something on Twitter? Oh. Oh, was he really?
He was at the scores table checking in when he had 29 rebounds.
And
he was asking the scorer, "What's the score?" And did you see who got the 29 rebounds against?
Who?
Gene Cross.
Did he really? Gene texted me too, but I didn't know that. The Jazz were going to bring him back up though. Quinn had texted me that about our game, and that's great. Yeah. When you get, and then Austin Carr, Monty Williams, John Paxson, Collis Jones, the old guard of guys too that are really proud of the program. That means a lot to me. I mean, when I got here, that's one of the things. You want those former guys to feel good about their program.
Any other?
Been behind so many times in the second half, and been in situations where you could stress your opponent. And in all those timeouts, you just seem to be completely level. How important is that for your players, for them to see you saying, "Okay, this is okay"?
Yeah, you probably haven't seen me as much as everybody here. My demeanor is pretty steady, and some of the people tonight we had season 2. You're so calm. Well, I am on the outside, not necessarily on the inside. I did have a little snappage moment last night, but my feeling has always been when your guys look over, man, they got to see some. We talk about poise. They got to see some of that and how you talk to them in the huddles, and I've always been very aware of that, and hopefully that helps our guys then stay more balanced. And the other reason maybe I don't panic as much being down 9 with this team, because we always answer. Other teams I probably would be a little more uptight, but this team has always answered the bell. And even when Miami took the lead, we were like cocky, like boom, boom, boom. Steve hit that. Let's get out of here. It was, it's really it's a great trait, and all of them that play have really got an edge about them. Even VJ's developed that, being around these guys.
Ian, I know you have a question for Mike on Bobby Hurley. If you want to ask that question.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations, Mike. You were obviously at Duke when Bobby was there. Now that he's coaching a team into the tournament, when did you first see him as a potential future coach, and what do you think now are his strongest assets that have allowed for his early success at Buffalo?
Well, I'm so proud of him, Ian, and that is no surprise at all. As a freshman at Duke, the questions he asked, how he thought the game, how he talked to you about the game, you can only imagine the dinner table talk in that house growing up, and how can you not, know what you're doing growing up in that family. I think what really helps him is he is a steady, poised guy on the sideline, and his relationship with players is his greatest strength. I think he's really a great communicator, connecting with players, and a calmer guy as how he leads his team. And I'm really thrilled for him. It's Buffalo's first NCAA bid. He made that AD look pretty good, didn't he?
Sure did.
And that AD was a walk-on for me. That's why I mentioned it. He was a Notre Dame grad and a walk-on for me. But knew knew that early in the recruiting process, Ian, that this guy was going to be pretty good if he wanted to be a coach.
Mike, people saw Bobby then as an extension of Coach K as a player. Do you think Bobby has some of his characteristics now as a coach, or do you see him as a different personality with a different approach?
No, I think he's his own man. I really do. I think he's his own man. The biggest thing we had a hard time with was getting him to talk to the team and, as the quarterback, be more vocal. And I think that developed later in his career there. But I think he's, you've got two strong personalities that are his mentors, his dad and Mike K. I think he's found his own way and his own way of doing it. And for a young coach like that, I think that's, that's really pretty good to be able to do that and maybe not copy too much.
Thanks and good luck.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you, everybody.